When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliat with the sister sauce. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the sister sauce. I'm Priscilla, and there next to me is my beautiful sister, Tina. How are you doing, Tina?
I am doing okay. How are you doing?
Doing okay. I'm glad I'm on with you.
Aw.
Sister time. We got to have some sister time last night too with some other friends online.
Yeah,
A
that was
little,
fun.
a little
Wine, women, and
dining.
wine. Whining with women drinking wine.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got to chitty chat last night too. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
And trying to get things done around our houses when we're not chitty chatting.
I got a lot done
That's
this
not
week,
as
but
fun.
then I feel like I'm still behind now. I don't know. It
Yeah.
never works out the way you want it to.
No, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves.
I agree. We should take a day off.
Yes. Bye. No. No, we here. We here. Do you have some spicy hot sauce for us today?
I have hot sauce, yes. My hot sauce was inspired by Pink, the singer, and she did an interview where she talked about being a strong believer in authentic apologies. And it was just really good. It caught my attention on Instagram, and I enjoyed listening to her take on it. And she said that the majority of people do not know how to deliver an authentic apology. And she said it's real simple. An authentic apology involves the three R's, which are regret, remorse, and resolution. So, in other words, if I'm apologizing to you for something, I should demonstrate regret and remorse and also have some type of resolution to the whole situation. And I was very intrigued by that because it was the first time I had heard it voiced so systematically, I guess is a good word, because I agree with her that people don't know how to apologize. A lot of times apologies seem so insincere and just broken. And it's hard for me because I always believe that I should accept an apology and that you never know what's in another person's heart and what their intentions are. But sometimes it's just very clear that it's not an authentic apology. And
Mhm.
you want to go, really? Is that the best you can do? And she talked about one time when her dad apologized to her and he said, I'm sorry, you're so sensitive. And
Mm.
I've gotten those kind of apologies before and they suck. And I am a firm believer in apologizing. I've always apologized to anyone that I thought I may have offended or hurt in some way. And to my kids, even. Somebody once told me they overheard me apologizing to one of my kids, and they said, you're making yourself seem weak in your children's eyes. And I said, no, I'm making myself seem genuine. I was wrong about what I did. I was apologizing because I was wrong. And so I thought that was an interesting take that they thought I was going to seem weak because I was apologizing. But I'm a firm believer in apologizing. And sometimes you apologize even when you don't think you've done anything wrong. I have apologized to people that were offended by something that was completely ridiculous. And I look at why they're offended and I think that's absurd. I didn't say that at all. It was clear that I did not say that. But I apologize even when I think I'm right, unless it's something that I feel I need to stand up for. And as Pink said, she said, if I'm right and I feel that I'm right, I'm going to double down. But if I have the slightest inkling I'm wrong, I apologize. So
Hmm.
I'm same way. I believe in authentic apologies. So the three R's, so that you don't forget, are regret, remorse, resolution.
Nice. I agree with that, and I approve this message.
Yay!
Yay.
I don't know what I would have done if you had disapproved it.
Ah, well, we've got some we were looking up ideas for how to celebrate 4th of July, things to do for 4th of July, not necessarily places to go or anything like that, but and everybody, the obvious thing people do is fireworks. So we were interested in crafty things and recipes, of course, us being both WW point counters, we have to watch out on those. So I was particularly interested in, the lower calorie things that you can make for 4th of July. I always love a good theme, right? You know me and my themes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm. So
Yeah,
we have some
and I also looked up like some games you could play and on the 4th of July, and I'll share what I found about that. But let's talk about the crafts first, Priscilla.
Mhm.
On the crafts, which ones stood out to you, or which let's talk about the ones that stood out to us.
Okay.
Which one did
Well, honestly, we got this from 55 Easy 4th of July Crafts to get into the patriotic spirit. It's from a June 13th article, so it's just from last week, from countryliving.com. And I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of stuff in here that I would have expected to see on Goop and not Country Living, if anybody knows what Goop is. Um, but we're not gonna talk about how to bleach our, you know, house to match 4th of July, you know.
you?
That's my best snotty voice. Anyway, the ones that I liked best were the ones like I love a good wreath.
Oh, yes. Yes, I
I
knew
love
you
a good
were going to say
wreath.
that.
I hardly ever have a wreath on my door, but I used to make wreaths all the time. And that was like my favorite craft to do. And I'll actually tell you one that's not in this list, but I don't know if anybody wants to do it. It's a little messy. But there was one that they said, go dig in your dad's old tie closet or what our tie box or whatever and find old ties that are red, white, and blue. Well, you're not going to probably find enough red, white, and blue ones to make a whole wreath that your dad's going
Yeah,
to
I
do
thought the
with
same
whoever's
thing. Like, how
left.
many ties does your dad have, you know?
Yeah, but I thought, if you've got fabric scraps or anything, old socks, anything that is red, white, and blue, if you have enough of them, you could make it into a wreath or go check out your local thrift shop, you know, and do that if you want to save money, get bandanas. There's a million things to do with bandanas in this list. I tell you what, they really like the bandanas. But I love a good wreath. And they said, you can get like a wreath frame, like a metal
Yeah,
wreath
craft
frame, and you
ring.
wrap
Yeah.
the ties around and you just secure them with a little stitch or hot glue or whatever. But they had some other ones where they had rolled paper into cones and glued those in a circle, which reminded me of those ones we used to make with the old computer punch card things that
Hmm.
we used we would fold them to corner and staple them. So it was kind of round like a cone on the end and
Uh-huh.
staple them all in a circle. And it looked like a poinsettia plant. And we made those for Christmas and painted them all color silver and red and green and stuff.
It's kind
I
of
remember
cool.
doing that with mom. But the one that I like to make, or I used to make, and I haven't done one in a long time, if you get one of those floral foam wreath shapes, it's the big
Yeah.
circle
You
and
can
it's
get
like a
those from the
tube.
Dollar Tree.
Yeah. And so if you take one of those and you get some red, white, and blue fabric, or it can be fabric that has all three colors on it or a variety. And you cut it into little like 4 or 6 inch squares and use your pinking shears so that it's, the edges are all crinkle, the zigzaggy.
Zigzag, yeah.
And you can take like a what I used to use when I was doing it, I think people use a variety of objects, but what I liked to use, I had a nice pointy, real flat nail file, but you could use anything, that's sort of jabby.
Mhm.
And you just poke the fabric in all over, like a half an inch apart, all over, and you fluff it. And it's this big fluffy
Oh,
wreath. Now,
that's kind of a cool idea.
yeah, I would probably Scotch guard that though.
I was thinking
If
the
you're gonna
same
put it
thing,
outside.
and maybe even reinforce the like to
Little
keep
dab
the
of
little
glue,
things from
yeah.
falling out. Just use a little glue to reinforce it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a
You
great
can
idea.
you
Yeah, I
can do
like
that on
that.
any styrofoam shape. So, you could but I used to make like big Christmas ornaments that way and use the
Yeah,
styrofoam balls. And that's pretty fun. But there's a
yeah.
lot. Did you have some in there that you
Yeah,
particularly?
I had a few that I liked a lot. So there's a couple of them that you can do with straws, and one is a wreath where you buy like red, white, and blue straws, which you could probably get easily now at the grocery or at one of the dollar stores.
Mhm.
And you attach them to a wreath ring to make a Fourth of July wreath out of that. And of course, you can add red or blue ribbons or whatever. And then they also took the straws and put them on a rope, and they just bent them over the rope and at different lengths.
Mhm.
And so they made this garland with these straws on it. So
Mhm.
of course, we're gonna put the link in the show notes so you can see the pictures. But those were kind of cool. I liked they had some American flags that were made with tongue depressors and
Mhm.
just like they don't have like you and I talked about it. There's not like detailed descriptions of how they did it, but they used tongue depressors. They painted some of them blue, some of them red, some of them white, and then some blue. The red and white, they alternated. So it was like a red, white, red, white, red. And then they took three of the blue ones or three halves of the blue ones and put those in the corners. So picture this red and white, oh, red and white striped pattern because you're alternating the tongue depressors. And then
Mhm.
up in the corner, three blue tongue depressors that have been broken in half or cut in half, and then little white stick-on stars to make like an
Mhm.
American flag. That was really cute, I thought. There's also like you can buy red, white, and blue ribbons and create windsocks using the
Mm.
ribbons. And you can, as the base of the windsock, you can use like a silver food can, like just, if you open a can of peas or whatever, clean
Mhm.
the can and flip it over to where the closed part is on the top, and you can drill a hole in that to put a string through it to hang the windsock. But that would be your base at the top. And they did a couple of them differently, but the ones that I liked had the cans were spray painted blue, and then they had red and white ribbons hanging from them, and then they put white stars on the cans. So I thought that was kind of cute. Those were windsocks, and then they had another windsock that was just like a ring as the base instead of the can, and then it was red, white, and blue ribbons hanging from
Mhm.
it. And those were cute. I really liked those. They did some things with different bottles where they put red, white, and blue designs on the bottles or on plant pots, flower pots. Those were nice. And just anything red, white, and blue, right?
Mhm.
Speaks Fourth of July. But they made some really cute things. They painted an old shutter,
Mhm.
added red and red and well, the shutter itself was white and they put red stripes on it by alternating and then did some blue with a big star pattern at the top. You could just do your own design. They also did a pin. Well, that was the one you talked about, the pinwheel wreath. That was pretty, but lots of pretty designs on here. I was tickled by them. They even took one, I don't know if you saw this one, but the lollipop bouquet, where they took
Oh,
the red and
yeah.
the blue lollipops and put them in
Uh-huh.
a vase to make a lollipop bouquet. And I was trying to think, and it's got white writing on it, so it is red, white, and blue. I personally would have decorated the container a little different than what they did. It was just a silver bucket, but it's really cute. It's a cute idea for like your
Yeah.
table, and you can use glue sticks to like secure them in place if you need to. But I envision people taking the lollipops and eating them. And I said, I wonder how long it would stay pretty like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, lots of cute ideas. And it really got me interested in going. So this podcast is going to drop on Sunday, the 30th. So you have like 4 days after that to go
Mhm.
get your supplies till, 3 days before the 4th. So you can go to Dollar Tree and look and see what they have. We talked about Dollar Tree before,
Mhm.
and you know how much of a fan I am of Dollar Tree. They probably got some really cool 4th of July things.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, in general, if you decide now, especially right now, if you have kids at home, younger kids especially, and you're looking for things to do, crafting is always fun and it's a good expression artistically. It's good stress reducer, as long as it's going well. I guess you don't want to stress yourself out trying to craft, um, but a lot of people, it's like, let's make crafts, and there's like no direction. And I think the best benefit of this article is seeing these things just that would help you spark some ideas, and
Yeah,
it
for
gets
sure.
the
I agree.
creative juices flowing and gives you some direction. Whereas just saying, I'm gonna make crafts, you
Yeah.
could end up spending an arm and a leg, and wasting resources, because, some of these things are not necessarily super practical for everyone. That's why I say it kind of reminds me of goop in places, because like having red and blue alternating china on your table, I mean, who's gonna put their pork ribs on their best fancy china? And why would you have so many sets of it? Where are
I
you
know.
storing this?
I
So
know.
that was what struck me about that one. But then I thought, I'm not gonna go out and buy plastic disposable flatware or tableware, because I'm trying to be environmentally conscious, but I can go get paper. I've got blue china, and I could go get red paper plates and put it on top if I was serving up a meal. I'm not probably doing that, but you know, you could get, just you could get the little small dessert size and the bigger dinner size and stack them up and put a little paper napkin and tie a little ribbon around it, and you'll be fancy.
Yeah. When I was looking for, so we have a big backyard. Well, not a big backyard. We have a big pool in our yard, and it has a decking around it. And I didn't know when we first moved into this house, I said, I want to make that look prettier, that area. But it's like, how do you decorate outside? I mean, I know how to decorate inside, but I didn't know how to decorate outside. And so I started like looking on Pinterest and Googling and looking for different ideas to decorate a patio. And I came across such great ideas. Like, I personally would not have thought to put a rug on my patio. But when I saw, all I needed was inspiration. When I saw the pictures, and I'm like, a lot of these pictures, there's a rug on the patio underneath, like the patio table. And we have a breezeway with a shelter with a roof over it. So it doesn't, some rain gets on there when the wind blows and all, but it doesn't really get like a downpour or anything, just some drops here and there. So we bought a rug for our patio, and I found a really colorful one. You know, I love it. It's beautiful. And it took me a while to find one that I liked, but I kept looking at Wayfair and different places until I found a very colorful. That's what I wanted. I wanted something super colorful. Also, we had like this bench that my husband had built all along the fence, and I didn't know how to cover that. I wanted to cover it in some way with pillows or whatever, but you know, that stuff's expensive. And I got lucky, and Big Lots had like a clearance on their patio cushions. And I got all these cushions that would normally, it's not like individual cushions. These are ones that you put like on the lawn chairs that have like three sections to them. And they were on clearance for like $5 and they were all different colors. So I bought those. I bought a bunch of those and it was enough that I could lay them out flat and cover the whole thing in cushions. So that was kind of cool. But also art to go on the fence. Like you don't think of putting like artwork outside. But
Mhm.
I went to Dollar Tree, and they had all these little wooden plaques. And it was around the 4th of July. And so a lot of them were red, white, and blue. And I got all these neat little plaques, and AJ just put nails on the fence for me to hang all the little plaques. And I pick them up, like if we're having a pool party or something, I put them out and then I pick them up afterward because I don't want them to get ruined from the rain. They are meant to be outside, but I know if I left
Mhm.
them on the fence the whole year, they would be faded and get rained on. So I pick them up. But yeah, I love all that kind of stuff in Dollar Tree. You'd be surprised
Mhm.
how much stuff, but you can decorate really inexpensively. You don't have to have the fancy china.
Yeah,
Yeah. The desserts all look good too.
they do. And looking through them, it's another thing where you could just really go on a theme and say red, white, and blue food. But you got to have these dishes, and when you're doing Weight Watchers or whatever diet you're on, you can't just be like, okay, we're having mac and cheese and burgers and hot dogs and baked potatoes or whatever. You can't just pick the stuff that's traditional and say this is what we're having. And just a tip for y'all, if you're having a big party and you're inviting a lot of your friends, and if you know any of them are on special diets, you might want to try to be nice and accommodate them with something, that's, lower fat, lower sugar, whatever, so that they have something.
Yeah, like
And
even if it's just a fruit tray
yeah,
or a
and
vegetable tray,
it's
something.
it's really hard when you're not on a diet to remember to accommodate other people.
Yeah.
And so don't feel bad if you didn't think of that, because I know it's taken me a lot of time to, be like, oh, I'm gonna make something for Christmas Eve and bring it to mom's, I'm kind of that's why this last Christmas Eve we had white turkey chili. That was a Weight Watchers recipe, and it was
That
delicious.
was super good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find a lot of different things uh on this list that are like that, like the salsas, and there's a oh, what was it? There's like a different kind of, I'm trying to search through real quick and find a southwestern salad with creamy cilantro dressing, and it's like a
Yeah.
pasta salad.
Yeah.
And so, there's different things you can use and substitutions and stuff you can do. But like you said, the fruit, that's anything with the red, white, and blue berries. Well,
Hmm.
not white berries, but red and blue berries. And then you could do the low
Low
sugar.
calorie whipped cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these are not red, white, and blue, which kind of cracked me up because I was like, how is that 4th of July?
Well,
But
I think that's what it's like, the side dishes.
the
Yeah.
red, white, and blueberry truffle trifle. trifle,
Mm.
not truffle, trifle is the prettiest out of all the desserts. And it's got layers of the sugar-free whipped cream with strawberries on top, which I'm allergic to strawberries. But it's got blueberries in the middle and strawberries on the outside and this big old plump strawberry on top. And it's
Mm.
got the whipped cream mixed with the blueberries and the so that's really a very pretty. I found that to be the most attractive dessert. But
Yeah.
also there's that salsa, the
Mm-hmm.
red and white salsa. It looks like they have a little bit of purple onion mixed in, which makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm. That's always good. And anything, the fruits, you could do a lot of different things with the fruit besides fruit salad, or you could do, just the arrangement, I think, helps make a difference. If you can arrange your berries in such a way, that you make a flag or a pattern or something is fun.
Yeah,
And there's some guacamole recipes, a peach salsa recipe. That sounds amazing.
I saw that, and I'm not particularly fond of peach, but it looked
It
interesting,
looks
almost like
good.
a sweet and sour kind of thing.
Mhm.
I don't know, but it looked interesting.
Some of these I'm kind of wondering how they got them to be Weight Watchers. I'm a little skeptical. Some of them I'm going, yeah, well, like low calorie Caesar salad on a stick. That's okay.
I saw that. I thought it was pretty, but I
It
was
is
like,
pretty.
I don't know, I wasn't sure about that.
I'm not a big fan of cherry tomatoes. So that's why that one kind of and I'm real picky about my greens. I like darker greens. So the romaine lettuce is not I'm not a big fan. But like you have a low calorie dip for the fruit. That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I would like to taste the berry tart with lemon cookie crust. That just looks amazing. It doesn't sound like it's low calorie, but it looks amazing. Who knows? And a low cal cherry pie. Mm. But yeah, the colors are pretty key as far as being festive, but you could do for your side dishes and your savory things, you could do anything, and like you could use the Beyond Burgers if you want a real burger type feel, or if you could just instead do like chicken, because chicken is 0 points, and then it's just whatever sauces you use on it or anything like that. You can make that, and that's a good main course option. And of course, Jello, you
Oh
can make
yeah,
a
Jello's
layered
always good.
Jello.
Yeah. I used to not care for Jello at all, but I'm not opposed to it anymore.
Yeah. And they have the parfait recipes, and you could use the low cal, low sugar whipped cream in the parfaits and layer your Jello. You could either do your Jello separate. I don't know how they do some of these. Haven't read all the exact steps of all the directions, but
Yeah.
like they have some of them where they do, it's actual layers of gel, like whole Jello layers.
I saw
Your
that.
mason jars, but you
Yeah.
can do bread in one, this no the sugar-free Jellos, red in one pan and blue in the other, and then cut it into little cubes and
Layer it.
layer them, yeah,
Yeah.
with the whipped cream. And
Yeah.
you can get red and blue sugar sprinkles and just put a little tiny sprinkle, and it'll look very patriotic.
For sure. Yeah. Lots of interesting ideas. I had mentioned earlier that I searched for Fourth of July games.
Mhm.
And if you just Google that, y'all, there are so many. If you For me, it automatically switched over to the images, but when I search that, if it doesn't, go from just the regular search and go to images and it'll show you. But there are so many of the printable games that you can download, like 4th of July A to Z quiz, where you list all things related to 4th of July from A to Z. And I I didn't download it, but it looks like it's fun. And then there are patriotic bingo cards that you can print. There's like, I don't know, 4 or 6 different cards that you can print and you can play patriotic bingo. There's a 4th of July I Spy worksheet for kids. There are dice games that you can download the sheets to go with them. True or false questions related to the 4th of July, word scrambles, US states emoji game. So you're given it's a 4th of July game and it's got 10 US states that are spelled out in emojis and you have to guess what they are.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is. It looks like it would be. Yes, very much so. But that's on Pinterest, but I found it just by Googling.
Hmm.
So check it out. Just Google 4th of July games and see what comes up. And then I also Googled 4th of July ideas, and there are tons of things. I mean, a lot of them related to how to decorate your table and gift bags and how things you could buy and put in gift bags, and a lot of shopping things popped up, like red, white, and blue Christmas lights that you could string up, and red, white, and blue dishes that we talked about. Flags. Do you know the pleated fan flags? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
We saw, it was funny. AJ and I went to drive by a house that's for sale today, and I was looking at a lot of the people in the neighborhood. I don't know if somebody in the neighborhood got them and like distributed them, but a lot of people in that neighborhood had the pleated fan flags on their fences. And it was really pretty, like on their picket fence, they had the fan flags at the top, and they were spaced out. And several houses like that, very pretty. But you can order those online, but you do have to pay for those. That's not a DIY. But pretty cool stuff. They have a little idea on how to make 4th of July poppers with toilet paper rolls and wrapping paper and stars and
Oh, like Christmas crackers, but 4th of July?
4th of July, they put like white paper and then they put red stripes around them and blue stars, or blue paper with red stripes and white stars. And they made all these little poppers. And it looks like they put something in it, like candy or whatever. But all I did was Google 4th of July ideas, and it's like endless. So I just suggest everybody do that. Lots of fun. Make 4th of July a fun holiday for your family. And don't do fireworks.
And dressing up patriotic. You could wear red, white, and blue clothes. You could have a contest.
Yeah.
If-
We did that one
if
year.
it
Our
does-
neighborhood was doing a 4th of July parade, and my kids were 7 and I guess almost 8 and 1. And Liv wasn't quite a year old yet because her birthday's in July and PJ's is in August. So they were about to turn 8 and 1. And so we took our wagon and made a float for Liv and decorated it. And PJ and his friends decorated it. They were little. And then we all dressed in red, white, and blue. And for years, I had this picture of the 4 of us walking, and I was pulling the wagon with Liv in the wagon, and we were all in red, white, and blue and matchy. And I don't know, the picture went down with Hurricane Isaac, I think, but somebody in the neighborhood had taken it and given it to me. But yeah, That's fun dressing up.
Hmm.
I don't know if I have any red, white, and blue. Might have to go look.
Hmm. I know I have at least one red shirt.
I
I think
think I'll have a red shirt.
I have a white cat. The white cat keeps
Drape the
trying
cat
to
around your shoulder.
infiltrate. Knows. I'm not even on screen anymore, just a big cat butt. People
So
on the listening on the podcast don't get this benefit.
I know you have something interesting for people to marinate on today. You want to share?
I do, and a cat moved just in time. Well, I've been listening on and off. I know when we talked about podcasts, I mentioned, or we both mentioned actually, um, Brene Brown's Unlocking Us podcast. And actually this morning I was listening to part one of e- the last episode. It was a two-parter and it was part one. And she's sitting down with her sister Ashley and they're talking, and I'm gonna try and sum this up because I was telling you, Tina, about it earlier, and I spent a long time talking about it, so I'm trying to make it more concise. So in general, she was expressing that at some point recently she had a lot of frustration with other people's behavior, and she was really annoyed. And she herself, like the two of us, is somewhat of a perfectionist and a rule follower. And it was really bothering her the way some people were behaving around her. And so she started researching and asking people, do you think people are always trying their best? And or in general trying their best. And a lot of people were telling her yes, and she didn't like it. And some people were like her and were like no, and went off. And in fact, one of her friends not only said no, started giving concrete examples of how people weren't doing their best, and it was really offensive. For example, she had little kids, and she started complaining about people who don't breastfeed, which is not everybody can, and not everybody wants to, and there are alternatives
It's a
that are,
personal, yeah,
it's a
personal.
personal choice, and it is not a very easy thing to do. I've done it, and I can tell you, my kids did not all breastfeed the same amount of time or in the same way, the same places, the same kind of covering up. You rely a lot on the baby's personality, and babies are not all the same, and they all have different needs. You never know, I had one with really bad acid reflux. I had one who did not want to stay under a covering and preferred a bottle. You never know what you're going to get, and you can't just force everybody to do things the same way. And there are good, nutritious, decent alternatives. And I'll agree. I think breastfeeding is optimal if you can and want to do it, but nobody should be guilted into it or anything.
Sure.
And it's just it has some good benefits that you don't necessarily get in other ways, but it's not doesn't mean that the alternative is bad. And so she had struggled with breastfeeding, so she was immediately offended by this woman's agreement with her because of the basis of why she agreed. But ultimately she found that the reasons why people were saying that they felt like people were trying their best was because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes in their life. You don't know their situation. You don't know all the details of their life and what they're going through. And maybe they're having a hard day or a hard life. Maybe they have real specific struggles, you know. And in particular, her husband said that he finds when he treats people as though they are doing their best, it makes him behave his best and be a kind person and have more compassion for people. And she also was told that I can't remember now who said it to her, but that maybe her being a perfectionist and having, you know, a strong inclination to follow rules was what was part of her problem with why she was reacting so strongly to anybody else not doing things the right way in her eyes, you know. Um, so so that's something to think about. That's something, how do we react to other people? And are we considering, you know, that there might be other stuff going on before we judge them? And it's hard sometimes not to judge other people when we hold ourselves to such a ridiculously high standard, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it because I do believe that there are people who just don't care and
That's
are not
true.
trying their
There
best.
is apathy, and so we can't, we don't know, I guess is the big picture of it, is we
That's
don't
true.
know.
And I do agree with you on that. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, there are some people who they're trying their best to bend your best nerve and have, you know, different,
Yeah, you're trying your best, all right, to make me nuts.
trying their best to burn every bridge and
Yeah.
just make everybody else miserable. Because some
Uh,
people do like to watch the world burn.
mm,
They're all about
yeah,
the drama. I
yeah.
think everybody would try their best if everybody went to therapy
I
and
think so.
watched Ted Lasso.
That's right. That's all it takes. Watch Ted Lasso and go to therapy.
There you go.
Preferably with a doctor like Dr.
Case
Sherman,
closed. Yes.
who is very brilliant and leads you to the right choices.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Case closed.
Well, that's some good marinade. That's something good for people to think about
Yeah, now you can go marinate your chicken too, or whatever for Fourth
to
of July.
get ready for 4th of
Well, I
July.
wouldn't start yet. You can't leave that sit in the
You
refrigerator
need
for
to
that
just
long.
start making your table decorations and getting ready for the 4th of July. And if you have any special ideas that you want to share, we'll be happy to hear them. Send them our way. And in the meantime, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.